time for Let's Play and Chat, and today we've got a game called MotherGunship, which Grip Digital is responsible for, and also another studio called, what was it? Terrible Posture? Terrible Posture Games, which is an excellent name for a game company. MotherGunship is a run and gun, you know, bullet hell kind of shooter, and we're going to give it a shot right now. Blake Siefken is going to come up and join us, and we're going to follow along. It's called Let's Play and Chat because we want you to chat with us. If you've got comments or questions or anything you want to talk about in the stream, let us know. Chat room is filled with incredible people like Taz. Crankpuss is going to come up and join us any second now. He just needs to hear it. So here we go. We're going to get into it right now. We're loading a little MotherGunship, and let's see how this goes. I remember digging Tower of Guns. It was exactly that. It was just weapon after weapon after weapon. It was insanity, and it was pretty fun. All right, and we will follow along right now. Vic, do you like Uncharted Lost Legacy? Too Sexy Travis Savage says, I did enjoy it, for sure. It was very beautiful, but it also felt very familiar, and it didn't feel like it opened up enough for me. There's a huge open world element in it, but yeah, I think that was one of the things that I kind of missed, is I wanted an open world Uncharted game. Okay, so this is a game really about running and gunning and simplifying everything. And we make sure that you can hear me and you can hear the game okay. And we can adjust some levels right now if we need to. But we got a big problem here, Blake.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, there's no way to invert this thing.
Oh, we didn't figure out how to invert it?
No. And it gets, it's an indie game, right? So it's not like AAA budget or anything like that, but I think we're...
So you can't invert the controls?
So yeah, this is gonna make people barf. I think...
well, it's gonna make you barf.
It's really hard to play when I can't invert the controls. Here, you play.
Okay.
So Blake is going to play today because I don't want to make you barf. Do you want to hear it? It's a lot of explosions and stuff.
Just put it in one of my ears.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, what am I doing? I'm killing these guns?
Just punch them, and I think you'll get guns eventually. I play inverted, Jordan Cunningham. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm like 33 years old, so I've been playing games for a long time. And
oh, you're only 2 years older than me.
And I think it was GoldenEye that actually trained me to play inverted, and then Halo I played inverted as well, and I just got used to it. So yes, I do play inverted. Colin McDonald, question, Vic, which show do you like better, Rebels or Clone Wars? I like Clone Wars more, and I think it's mostly because of the out-of-nowhere innovation, but I haven't watched all of the Rebels. I've got a bunch of episodes on collected on Blu-ray, and I need to do that. And I think what I want to do is get them all now, because they've concluded the show, and then do a review, like a full review of Rebels, and maybe do a versus between the two. I would love to go back and watch some of the Clone Wars episodes again. Just incredibly ingenious storytelling in you know, a universe, a galaxy that we know so well. And I just am so appreciative of the talents of Dave Filoni. And I have to tell you something, like I sat on a lot of panels at Star Wars Celebration last year, and I don't know if there was more passion on display for Star Wars than in the Dave Filoni Rebels panel, where he announced that it was going to be the last season and stuff. And it was just incredible. Like, it was an amazing Star Wars Celebration because it was the first one after Carrie Fisher died, and I sat in with Mark Hamill's panel where he basically had a memorial kind of talk around Carrie Fisher, and it was beautiful, and I was crying and getting all hot. I was by myself too, and I was just surrounded by people, and I was just like, it was a heavy day. But it was really great, you know, it was really great, and I loved Dave Filoni's talk. Good question, though. A Fat Chimp question, would be awesome to have an EPN hangout at a park or something. Yeah, guys, I'm working on something that would allow us to hang out a lot more often. So, in real life, IRL. So keep your fingers crossed. The stuff that we did at EXP this year for our E3 streams was kind of a little bit of a test. It was kind of like a beta for how we could create content in. Is it chugging?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
Speaking of GoldenEye, this game has a lot of loading.
Does it? Yeah, yeah.
It's very retro.
So let's table that question. A fat chimp, it's a good one, and let's see what happens. Question:
so
should
on,
I officially link the Discord today? It is pretty much ready. Blade Blur, go for it. I don't think there's any harm to doing it, right? I mean, the only thing I want to do is I want to create a channel within the Discord for all of the sponsors of EPN, because I feel like we should have our own, you know, I like this, I think it's Timberwolf saying, EPNgers assemble. I kind of dig that. I think that's pretty cute. And we had the Electric Posse, I think, was dropped the other day. But I feel like we need a little group with people that are the sponsors. It sucks that YouTube... Like YouTube has made our lives very simple for the collection of all of our content. I wish we could have a little bit more customizable options with the way it's served up on our pages. But the thing that I don't like the most about YouTube is that it's not really built around community, and I guess that's what Twitch really has in its favor, is that it's kind of a community site first that also deals with a lot of streaming video, but it's not a great aggregator of tons of pre-cut and pre-assembled video content, which is our main source of content, is all the pre-assembled stuff, although the live stuff is becoming much more important for us now and into the future. So not any one of them is perfect, and I think that is why Discord has been able to come up and sort of work with creators across both streams. But the one thing that's very important to me is that we have some kind of way to connect with everybody that's supporting us on a regular basis with the sponsorships. It's amazing.
Did we intro this game? Like, did we explain what it is?
Yeah.
So this is from the people who made Tower of Guns.
Yeah, I said all that.
Yeah. It's a procedurally
you don't
generated
listen to me. You
thing.
just drowned me out.
Well, I was listening to the.
Okay. It's procedurally generated. I did not say that. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So this is all like random.
Yes.
Metroidvania.
Yes.
I have 2 guns. It's like GoldenEye. It can dual wield.
Yep. What's the best thing to happen in gaming this year, from Patrick Furtado? That's a great question. Best thing to happen in gaming this year? I think God of War, if I'm just off the top of my head thinking about it. I think that a game that...
Does that mean game or in the industry as a whole?
Well, two things, right? Right now, out of all of the stories that I have seen, and the shows, Audrey on Leon's in the chat talking about how incredible Glow Season 2 is, and it is. We all loved Avengers Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp was cool, Black Panther. But of all of the stories and the content that I've consumed in 2018, God of War is still the best. It's still the best storytelling that I've seen. And for a studio to take the risk on turning an action game, this looks fun, into a really thoughtful and beautifully constructed and orchestrated story like God of War is very, very important and profound, and a tremendous accomplishment, and not easy to do. That reinvention that happened with God of War, I think, is one of the most important things, or one of the most joyous things about video games so far in this year. And I would point to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild as the most important thing that happened in games of 2017. But great question. Plus, Christopher Judge is goddamn legendary, Tyler Fisher says. Yes, he is the perfect Kratos, especially the perfect older Kratos. He had so much nuance and like weight. You could feel his pain. It was wonderful. God, it's an amazing game. And my regret about God of War is I've finished the story, and so it feels like when I play it, and I still get sucked in. I haven't done every single thing you can do in the game, but every time I play it, I feel guilt that I'm back in this world, just kind of, not spinning my wheels, but like I've reviewed it. I'm supposed to play all the new stuff, and I almost wish I could erase my memory of the game. I shouldn't wish for that too much as I get older, but I would almost like to go back to it and see it as a fresh new thing.
Wouldn't it be nice to have one of those Men in Black memory wipes?
For certain things, yeah,
just
for certain
erase
things,
the memory
sure.
of that specific game or movie and then just watch it again for the first time.
Yes. Blade Blur says, if you are a sponsor, let me know via DM if your Discord name is different from your YouTube name, and I'll give you the coveted sponsor spot on Discord. Blade Blur, you are the sweetest man. Thank you so much. Colin McDonald, Vic, did you buy the collector's edition for the new Spider-Man PS4 game? I tried to look for it, but it's sold out so fast. Colin McDonald. No, I didn't buy the collector's edition. I'm expecting that, you know, PlayStation, I've worked with covering their stuff since '95, so I feel like they'll probably send me a code. It would be amazing if, you know, our friends at Insomniac or PlayStation said, look, we want to send EPN a collector's edition. We would definitely show it off. But because I get the codes and the software, not always the collector's edition, that's totally cool because I've had many, many years of getting lots and lots of things, so I never ask for, you know, people to go out of their way to treat us with all that stuff. But I expect I'll get the software to review, so I did not buy it. But I can't wait. It's definitely one that I've hovered over going, do I want to do that? But you know, I've been doing this for a long time, guys, so I have a lot of collector's editions and a lot of cool statues and figures and things like that. And I try to show them off in the shows as much as we possibly can. But yeah, I have a lot of stuff.
Did I kill this thing?
I'm just mostly excited to play the freaking game. I cannot wait. Let's see, we have still have many months to go. Ask that at the end of the year for that. Somebody's asking about the best game of the year. Oh, what's the worst thing to happen in gaming this year? Yeah, I think that's what Faramer is bringing up with regards to Patrick Furtado's question there. Johnny McFly asking, do you have any thoughts or hopes for Red Dead 2 Online? I just want that same level of inventiveness that we have with Grand Theft Auto Online. I want to be surprised by it. I don't think that Red Dead has as much malleability. It doesn't. You can't just throw anything at that game and make it make sense. There's a narrative sort of anchor that needs to be satisfied. And I mean, they did an amazing job with Undead Nightmare. You know, that was awesome. So maybe we get a zombies kind of element in the online portion of Red Dead 2. But I just don't want there to be this sense of parody around the storytelling, because I think anybody that beat the first game will kind of back me up on this.
Oh, here's where I'm supposed to go.
The weight of that narrative, of that storytelling in Red Dead 1 was unbelievable, you know, and incredibly surprising. In a game rife with surprises and filled with so many indelible characters, by the time you reach its conclusion, you are kind of in shock at its maturity and its brilliance, you know, and I want that again with Red Dead 2. And obviously they have, you know, much better rendering opportunities and the learnings from every previous title that they've done that they can attach to this. So the nuance of the characters and the story is probably going to blow us away. So when they go into the online stuff, I don't want all that stuff to be just wiped off the table. You know what I'm saying?
This game is awesome, Vic.
Is it cool?
I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, yeah, it looks really rad. That's fantastic. Jordan Cunningham, I'm 30 years old and I switched to non-inverted since I played Brute Force, Red Faction, and Halo, the Halo's Collector's Edition. Yeah, I know some people can do the switch over. And I tell you, when I fly around in Lego games, when there's flying characters, I don't invert because I use the right thumbstick to bring me down to ground level and fly. So it's a bit weird, and I feel like certain games have different kinds of control schemes that I use. So, but for the most part in shooters, I'm pretty inverted.
That's the MotherGunship.
Oh, that's great.
That big ship out there.
That's fantastic.
So we got to destroy that because it's threatening Earth.
Okay, very cool. Tiago Santos, what do you miss most from the old EP show, and what would you like to first incorporate into the new show? I miss having people. I miss having
other employees.
Yeah, other people that we can throw to and we can get their points of view. I definitely miss the ability to go off and review on the run with another person. I've really enjoyed the challenge of doing it alone. It's been cool for me to kind of, you know, get better at, because I shoot everything too when I'm out on the field doing a lot of these things with our camera, and I use my phone. And actually, what's funny about the How It Ends review, on that day, I use my phone connected to the camera, and I can see that I'm in focus and stuff, and I press record. But on that day, it was the first day in my history of shooting reviews on the run where my phone said, it's too frickin' hot, and it crapped out on me and said, well, the iPhone is not available until it stops being this hot. And that was remarkable for me. But I dig the process that we're doing it now. I love EP Live. I think this is absolutely the perfect show for us to be making in 2018 and beyond because it allows us to, interact with you as we're getting into this, Oh, somebody said Combat Evolved, not Collector's Edition. That's funny. My bad. CE can mean a lot of things.
Yeah, it hasn't been called. Nobody calls it Combat Evolved.
Yes.
Just call it Halo.
Yes. But I do miss the ability to collaborate with another host, and obviously, Blake is putting a lot of content together and assembling the show and editing while I'm off shooting or playing these things or whatever. I edit every once in a while, but Blake is really doing the bulk of that and all the writing and stuff too. So he's really kind of anchored to the
This Blake guy sounds like he does a lot.
He's very talented, this guy. Yeah, he knows what's going on.
He doesn't know how to get out of this hub world.
That's okay. That's where I would be right now anyways. Yeah. And so I can't really say, okay, let's go out and shoot something, or you shoot me, or what, I miss, the amount of team that we had, but I don't know if that makes sense now in this sort of media age. So I think if I could do anything, is I would augment EP Live with a few more people here in the studio and a few more teams of a couple of people in different cities, so we could constantly get the bounce of perspectives, because the thing that I'm proudest of is the amazing group of people that I was able to kind of bring together, and we built something ahead of its time and something that I can't see easily replicated by any other production entity out there, because the people that I put in front of the camera, behind the camera, were just freaking gung-ho to do what we were doing, and we worked our butts off to kind of build something very special. And it blows me away that I see lots of other people that have opportunities with either lots of financial backing or lots of resources at their disposal, and they kind of squander it. They don't build something that resonates the way that we were able to do. The thing that we did is we broke through the sort of, I don't know, the ceiling of interest in this space. We got into mainstream.
Our mission statement was always to make it accessible.
We made it accessible.
Especially when we went daily.
Yes.
Never assume that the audience knows what we're talking about. Always make it, not dumb it down, but make it make it so that your mom can watch it and know what's going on.
But also build it so we know that our audience is incredibly intelligent,
yes,
and they know, and this is how they consume. Like, we're trying to keep up with the consumption habits that we as everyday consumers are into, and we're watching stuff on our cell phones, we go to movies, we play games everywhere. And so we did that, and we cracked through, and we got onto mainstream television stations and rated well. And so I'm incredibly proud of that. So if I could do the ultimate show today, it would be EP Live with a little bit more of that EP Daily kind of production sauce that we have. But not overboard, because these are different days for media, so not spend too much and get too big, and because I think the days of people having just one task on a show are kind of over. You kind of have to be able to do a bunch of things, right?
Yeah.
Got to be able to be in front of the camera, behind the camera, edit, write, do some graphic stuff, a little bit of everything. So that was a long answer to a good question. Nintendo Boy 17 reviews on the run. Judgment Day was the Siskel and Ebert of video games. I remember when Vic and Scott were parroting them. Thank you so much, Nintendo Boy 17. Siskel and Ebert and Entertainment Tonight were in my pitch document. It was the 3-pager that I met with all kinds of video game companies about to bring them in as sponsors and supporters of the content. And I met with tons of broadcasters, and it was a very easy format to kind of explain. I wanted to bring the objective opinions and reviews of Siskel and Ebert and butt it against a news magazine that went behind the scenes, like Entertainment Tonight used to do, until they kind of focused all of their stuff on reality TV stars. But and Entertainment Tonight used to be a great show. It used to be about the nuts and bolts of the movie business and the TV industry, and then it became very much a show that was, following the gossipy stuff that was going on.
Hang on, I just want to point out, like, this game has a portal type element where you run through these things and
you bounce up there.
There's a part before where I was doing a lot of that. So.
Yeah, this looks like
it's a nice, and there's some Half-Life style sort of platforming.
And lots of Doom. And it looks like an elevation on what Tower of Guns was.
Yeah.
So thank you. That's a very good comment, Nintendo Boy. That was the idea from the beginning. Question: are you interested in playing Dead Cells on the Switch? I am so excited. Foobs, Jose, talks about Dead Cells every time I see him. I've not touched it because it's been in early access and I don't really have tons of time to play beta stuff and early access and demo stuff, but I've heard it's amazing. I cannot wait. Tyler Fisher, we missed Tommy's odd review scale, 6.2 because not quite a 6, not quite a 6.5. Yeah, he was really granular and very much kind of lifting, I think EGM used to scale like that. And we got the note, I think, when we were with Discovery Science, Season 6. Can Tommy just go to the 0.5 scale like you, Vic? Because I was always pretty steadfast that it's either 6.5 or it's an even number. And then so it's like I talked with Tommy. He's like, the network's really thinking that we should just go to the 0.5, and he's like, okay, all right. He relented.
I just met a talking frog.
Oh, cool, fantastic.
So it's very Star Fox.
So I'm
having a good time.
You're having one of the best days of your life.
The only thing I
right
would
here.
complain about this game so far is the loading. There's a lot of loading,
yeah.
And it stutters a bit too every once in a while.
Yeah,
like the frame rate goes down.
I don't think this is fully complete yet.
And also the crafting is a little counterintuitive.
Right.
I'm a little confused.
You're already crafting?
Yeah, you have to craft all your guns. I think I crafted not a good gun combination.
Cool.
And it's hard to figure out what the good.
Feels like ARMS a little bit.
Yeah.
ARMS as a shooter. Question from Johnny McFly. Have you ever met Kevin Conroy? I asked because he's always been my favorite Batman, and I finally got to meet him. Who is yours? He is the best sounding Batman, 100%. He's incredible, and I've met Kevin a few times. He actually did a... it's not on my phone anymore. I used to have a U.S. number because I was down there all the time, and when I was shooting an interview with him one time, I got him to record my voicemail message. Hi, this is Batman. It was amazing. And then I lost that number, so I lost that message.
Did we interview him when we did Bruce Timm and Andrea Romano at like 2015 with Marissa? You and Marissa and me were there.
I'm sure we did.
I'm not sure if Kevin Conroy was there.
Well, we did the making of... we've met him for a few different things over the years, but we did the making of Batman Arkham Asylum. And so we spent a lot of time with him in the sound room being Batman, and also with Mark Hamill, and got great interviews, and he was amazing. But then we've met him on the red carpets and stuff at Comic-Con and stuff when he's done his characters, and we've interviewed him about that. But one of my greatest honors is I got to host the panel for Assault on Arkham, the animated movie that Warner Brothers made, and Kevin was in the movie. Lots of other great actors were in the film, and we all went out for dinner afterwards. And I sat beside Kevin, and we just talked for the whole night, and
okay, Vic,
it was incredible.
And
he's an amazing guy.
Maybe you can figure this out. What
Yeah.
What am I doing wrong?
Where's your currency?
I don't know.
Add the part. Attach part.
Yeah, I was doing that before and nothing was happening.
Boom. Finish crafting. B.
Okay. Well,
you didn't finish.
That's what I was doing. I guess I just didn't have the right parts.
There you go. You got it.
But now I'm pressing it and nothing happens. I think I crafted it wrong.
Okay.
Like it's not shooting.
I can't help you because I'm answering the people.
Okay.
You got to figure it out, brother.
Okay.
Ryan Landis, question: did you ever have an interview that you thought was a disaster? Yeah, I've had those over the years for sure. I'm pretty good at salvaging stuff and finding a common ground. I'll tell you, Scott Kahn was a asshole.
Who's that?
He's in Hawaii Five-0. He just had such a crappy attitude. I met him at Sundance, and this was pre-Hawaii Five-0, so it's like, who are you? You know, not that I ever pull that on anybody, but we usually have everybody saying, look, we'd love to talk with you, and because everybody plays video games, and it's a very safe meeting point to have discussions. So we've had lots of success with tons of actors and directors and lots of other people. We talk about their projects, but we've also had lots of great conversations sort of centered around their love of gadgets or games or whatever. And Scott Kahn was just the one guy that I remember who was just a total douchebag, and it was shocking. I was like, what kind of attitude are you giving us? This is so nuts. But I don't like to talk out of turn and gossip too much like that.
Should we talk about our Frank Miller story?
Oh, that he was...
Should we talk about that story, Vic?
No.
Okay.
No.
He's kind of turned into a racist old jerk, so maybe...
Yeah, he's laying out some hardline ideas out there for sure. But he's so brilliant.
Yeah. We like Frank Miller, but we have a Frank Miller story that, I guess we're not going to get into.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to turn this into gossipy stuff, but yeah, I've had some interviews that have gone poorly. It shocks me when people, and I've had a few people, just a few. So it doesn't usually happen. And I've had a few people just say, no, we don't want to do an interview, and it kind of breaks my heart. Like there was an indie developer that we were going to put them on camera and get their story about their game, and they said, no, we don't really want that. And I think it came out of shyness or feeling like we were going to be a cheeseball, TV source or something like that was going to completely turn it into some anti-video game story, which is so pathetic. I mean, how many traditional news stories have we seen where they just kind of make fun of people that make video games or condescend to them or whatever. And I don't know what the reason was, but yeah, it always kind of breaks my heart because all we want to do is show people's creativity and I think of it as, I made this analogy when I was talking with somebody about what we do, but it's almost like we talk to these Don Quixotes, these crazy people that work with these impossible technologies to build something that will entertain us, and they're just like hunting those windmills. They're going after them. They're going to do it. And it's so hard to do this stuff, and that's all I want to do is put these people in front of the camera and talk about their work with a sense of respect. It boggles my mind when people don't want to do that or can't see that that's where we're coming from. Tyler Fisher, I know you've discussed cost issues, so RTX 2018 is out of the question, but would you ever consider trying to get out there to RTX 2019 or beyond? I don't know the Rooster Teeth folks. I want to know them. I want to meet them. And Greg Miller has said he's going to introduce me to some of the people over there. So I feel like there could be some common ground and some stuff that we could collaborate on. So maybe one day. I would love that. I think that would be really cool. The Fix Podcast. Hey, Vic and Blake, have you had a chance to watch the new Robin Williams documentary? Yes, and a review is forthcoming. I won't spoil it. Remember when Arnold Schwarzenegger tried to get mature-rated games treated like pornography, Jordan Cunningham? Yeah, I think people come at games from a sense of ignorance. And, it's if you don't know what kind of content is being made or how it connects with people on an emotional level, or if you're just frightened of it, it's very easy to demonize this stuff, just like it always has been. And I've had this discussion with so many people over the years about the violence in games and the addictive qualities of video games, and mature concepts being utilized to propel a story forward that are maybe marketed to people that are too young to appreciate them. And one of my common discussion points is like, look, we've had really heavy, mature stories since the days of Oedipus, and the stories that were meant to kind of teach us morality, that were heavy about sons killing their fathers and going to war with people and tasked with just awful things. And we've all survived those stories, and they've been the pillars of so many different variations of those stories over the years, and you can point at more modern storytelling, like what Scorsese has been able to do with his crime fiction. And
I think I have a better gun combination now there.
There you go.
I think this is the way to do it.
Awesome.
I have a lava gun and a gun.
So games are just a chunk of that, and when you talk about mature games and they dip into that dark fantasy stuff that's in there, that exists in our minds, and we need to explore it. It needs to be a part of our storytelling diet. Or you can choose to not go in that space and still find lots of engagement and entertainment out of video games. There's lots and lots of ways in, I'm telling you guys, you all know this, but it is shocking when people try to turn games into any kind of a scapegoat. They're just a new form of communication. It's definitely there are addictive qualities, and definitely it's potentially more compelling and more consuming than a lot of other media out there. And maybe some of the entertainment is structured in a way that just goes on a little too long, for sure. But in terms of narrative and storytelling and rewards and community and engagement, it's hard to beat video games. That's why you know, I've been doing this for 25 years, and I don't see an end in sight. I love it, you know, and I love games more than I did when I started. And what's amazing is now we have history in this business, and we can look back at some of that early stuff and still be as blown away by the imagination that these early developers had back then, and the lessons that they taught everybody, you know. Anyways, let's see what we got in here. Johnny McFly, what do I think Rocksteady is up to? I think they're working on a Justice League game. I don't think that they're working just on a Superman game. That's what I think, but I'd be happy with either.
And if they need a documentary made, call us.
Yes, absolutely. I'd love to go back.
Rocksteady, call us.
Those guys rock. The Discord server is starting to blow up. That is awesome. I guess we're going to have to do the chats on Discord at some point here. Hashtag fuck Batman from Happy Console Gamer.
Fuck Batman.
It's getting late. I've actually got a meeting that I have to get going to, guys.
Okay, are we gonna end the MotherGunship?
Yeah, I think so. Yes. This was awesome.
This game is really good.
We had a lot to get into today.
I'm thoroughly enjoying this, and I'm Crankpuss. So
fantastic.
If I like this, it's doing something right.
I'm gonna bug the devs to put in an invert, and then I'll review it when I do. One of my next reviews that's gonna be coming is Tempest 4000. I've stuck a bunch of time into that game, so expect a review for that very soon. I'm gonna be playing a lot more of the Danger Zone 2 and. I'm playing that sushi game that Nintendo published on the Switch as well. I've got a bunch on my batting order in there. Lots of stuff coming up. And of course, Mission Impossible comes out next week. Johnny and I are going to go off and see that on Monday, so we'll have a review of Mission Impossible Fallout for you guys next week. But we're coming back tomorrow with another EP Live. And we'll figure out what that one's going to be about after we're wrapped up on this one. We've got tons of content for you to check out, so please dive through all of our videos on our YouTube channel and watch some of that stuff. If you dig it, hit subscribe, hit that little bell. If you're so inclined, there's a sponsor button that you can hit as well. And remember, everybody, thanks for watching, and play forever.